Welcome to episode 4 where we talk all things wedding timelines.
Woo woo!
Make it seem like the party episode.
Yeah, this is the fun stuff. This is like where we get into the whole timeline. It's
the nitty-gritty of planning a wedding when you do it.
Yeah.
When you do things. So Kelly, when should we start booking things out?
I think in an ideal world, 12 to 18 months is good. That's a really nice amount of time to have to plan your wedding. But that's not to say that you can't do it in 6 months. I've helped a couple style there and plan their whole wedding in 13 weeks, which is not ideal. But look, most of the guides and checklists that you see online say 12 months. So that's kind of what we're going with today. But we want to put that disclaimer there that you can start sooner or you can plan it in a shorter space of time. But in an ideal world, you'd want to have 12 months minimum.
Absolutely, yeah. So Kelly, how long do you think, or you might actually know because you're a planner as well.
Yeah.
How long does it take to plan a wedding? Like how many hours would that be?
It's really hard because every wedding's different, but I would say as a general guide between 300 and 600 hours. So it depends on how big your wedding is and how extravagant you're going with it, the scale of the wedding and all that sort of stuff. But when you think about it, 300 to 600 hours is like 6 to 12 hours a week over 12 months.
That's like a side hustle.
Yeah, it's like having another job on top of your full-time job.
Wow.
So yeah. So we'll talk about all the things, but from more of a high level. We won't go into all the details today.
No, of course.
But we'll talk about all the critical things that you need to think about and when we would recommend that you look at those things.
Yeah, I suppose if we went into like all the details, that would get very messy.
And like maybe
long.
Boring.
Yeah, we'd be here all day.
Paint your nails and
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So I guess if we're talking like 11 to 12 months out, what do you think are the key things that couples need to be considering?
Yeah, so definitely like the big ticket items at that point. But before doing that, obviously working out your budget and your guest list, hiring a planner and a styler if you're actually going to be doing that as well. Obviously that'll save you some time. Deciding on the overall theme and vibe of your wedding, booking in the venue, the caterer, the celebrant, all the really big important things, all the other things that book out quite quickly, like your photographer, videographer, florist, the band, DJ, live music, that kind of thing, whatever you're going for, I guess. So anything else as well, I think that's really important to you that you don't want to compromise on. So if there's something that was really important to you, like a harpist or, I don't know,
a makeup artist, because we will say, I guess, throughout this episode, we'll give you a guide of when we think things should be booked.
Yeah.
But if you've got a certain makeup artist or florist or stylist or photographer that you want to work with and you know that you absolutely have to have them, then book them early.
Lock them down.
Yeah. Definitely. You don't want to be disappointed because really popular suppliers do book out, sometimes 12 to 24 months ahead.
Yeah, that's true. I can think of one that would book out really quickly. And that's like if I had a specific designer in mind for a wedding dress for myself, then I know that I would need to probably lock them down 24 months in advance.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know one in particular in Adelaide who I think a couple of my brides have missed out on because they've left it too late.
It's so sad.
Yeah. So that's 11 to 12 months out.
Yeah.
So 10 months out, we would recommend starting to look at your wedding dress, suits,
wardrobe,
whatever you're going for. So whether you're having you're a same-sex couple or whatever you're planning on wearing on the day, maybe start to look at that, especially if it's something bespoke and tailored. That's why we would recommend doing it that far out. Create your wedding website if you're having one.
Yeah, and speaking of bespoke invitations as well. So like the wedding website goes hand in hand with the printed invites if you're doing those.
Yeah, definitely. And that's more like, looking at probably save the dates at that 10-month mark. But, you might, if you're someone who wants it to all be really cohesive, then you would want to look for the person who's doing your invites on the day, stationery, and your save the dates, if that's important to you. So that's why we would recommend booking them at 10 months out.
So 9 months out, you would be sending out those save the dates and also talking with your stationery supplier about your invitations. If you're having one, I personally was a DIY bride, so we saved so much money doing our own invitations. So really?
Really?
No, not really.
You didn't?
But, no, I mean, they weren't expensive, but it just I think it was Doug, myself and my mum doing them all on my mum's printer. And then we had to set up the printer so that the invitation was stuck onto a A4 piece of paper. And then we had to run it through 10 times before getting all of the alignment right with the writing and stuff. So,
it's a nightmare. Any client I've worked with who's DIY'd their stationery has been pulling their hair out.
Yeah.
Especially there's that, but there's also the on the day stationery, specifically place cards and seating chart is a nightmare.
Yeah. I can't imagine doing a seating chart myself. That just seems like it would be a nightmare. I remember seeing at weddings and stuff, seeing so many just poorly executed welcome signs and seating charts that are just not aligned just from people doing them themselves. I think it would save you so much time and such a headache by just going through somebody and getting
a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also if aesthetically you want everything to look a certain way, having DIY stationery not done very well can really bring that down, that whole styling concept. As soon as you walk in, if it's a really badly done welcome sign, it just brings the whole level of the styling down. Sounds really snobby, but it's just if it's something that's important to you, then it's probably something worth outsourcing to a professional.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can really tell when it's not good quality. So what are we up to? 7 to 8 months out? So that's where we would suggest looking at bridal party outfits. So whether you're having bridesmaids, bridesmans or grooms ladies or whatever you're having, you might have a transgender bridal party, who cares? We're all for it. So whatever your bridal party are wearing, you should probably start looking at those outfits around 7 to 8 months out. How did you go with your bridal party outfits?
Yeah, good. I think I wasn't actually too bothered. I went shopping with all my girls. We went to Bridal and Pulteney, which doesn't exist anymore, but we tried on some bridesmaids dresses, went for a light blue with an overlay of white lace, which sounds awful, but it was actually really nice. Looking back now, I would totally do things completely different, but I ended up having 2 bridesmaids that were 6 months pregnant on our wedding day. So we got really lucky with the style of dress that we chose because it
still fit
it was accommodating for the bust and the belly. So yeah, it was really lucky. But in saying that, the dress was not something that the girls would have worn again another day.
If you were doing it now, would you still make them wear matching outfits, or do you think you would?
I think I would do different, but I would just get them to choose something white. So I'd want them all in white.
Yeah, mine were all in white.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd do that again now.
No?
I think I'd do all mismatched outfits and just colour.
Whatever they like.
Whatever colour palette I was doing on the day, just within that kind of palette.
That's nice.
I feel really bad that I made my bridesmaids all wear the same dress because I feel some of them weren't that comfortable in the style.
Yeah.
I tried to pick something that fit everyone's kind of accentuated everyone's, great assets.
Yeah.
But, obviously some people don't like a shorter or a longer or, they need something that they can wear a full bra with and not a strapless bra. So, yeah, it's really hard. So I think now I would just do mismatched and just let them choose their outfits because you want them to be comfortable. Same with shoes. Do they really have to all wear the same shoes or could they just wear a shoe in a certain colour, and you want them to be comfortable because there's nothing worse than having them walking around in uncomfortable shoes all day. The other things around that 7 to 8 month mark is you would probably need to start looking at your accommodation, so yours, your partners, you guys on your wedding night, and then also your bridal party, and also the transport to get you guys to and from the wedding.
Yeah.
And then that's where I would also suggest starting to source your furniture, decor, lighting and cake supplier. So, start looking at the types of furniture and decor that you want. And with the cake, I always recommend, if cake is important to you, if you're having a cake, not everyone does, get some tasting boxes like from your top 2 suppliers. You do have to pay for them, but why not do it on an occasion like one of your birthdays or a parent's birthday or something like that, and you can enjoy some yummy cake flavours.
I think that the way that the cake tastes is almost more important than what it looks like.
I thought you were going to say more important than the actual marriage.
Could you imagine? Let them eat cake.
No, I've had clients that are like, cake is the most important thing to us.
Yeah.
So I always say get a tasting box then, because you don't want to be disappointed with the way it tastes.
Yeah.
You can make a cake look good, but trust me, I am not a baker. I can make it look good. I can style a cake.
Yeah. I think any cake can look good
on the outside.
But it needs to like have it on the inside as well. It needs to be the same.
What about a foam cake? How do they taste?
Really awful. Really bad for the environment too.
I know they are actually. So what's next?
So 5 to 6 months out, Kelly, you'd book in all your furniture, decor and lighting, the transport for guests if you need to be doing that, and you might even have a final tasting with your venue or your caterer.
Yeah, and even if you don't actually have a tasting with your caterer, you'd probably still meet with them over the phone, face-to-face or Zoom to actually start talking about your menu.
Yeah.
Because it's good to get their advice on, if you're doing like BYO or dry hire wedding and you're bringing your own alcohol in or drinks in, it's good to get advice from your caterer in that meeting based on the food. What alcohol do they think would pair well with that? You would also book your cake at that point, I would say around 5 to 6 months. Some cake suppliers, again, are really popular and book out a lot further ahead than that. So that's just a guide. Don't hold us to that if you go to the best cake supplier in Adelaide and they're booked out.
I guess it goes to show with any of this, whatever is most important to you, book that the earliest.
So 3 to 4 months out, we would suggest looking at wedding rings, finalising your flowers with your florist, so whether that's meeting with them or having a chat over the phone just to make sure that nothing's changed, and also so they can finalise and let you know what's in season and all that kind of stuff. And then ordering your invites and sending them out. So when I say 3 to 4 months, we probably wouldn't recommend sending your invites out until around that 10-week out mark and having your RSVP date at about a 6-week mark.
That's good.
Yeah. What else would you?
Well, during that time too, you'll be having all your final meetings with other people like your videographer and your photographer, your celebrant. I know that there's like legal paperwork that you need to be signing as well within a certain amount of time before the day as well. Your suppliers that you book in will all guide you as to when you'll be meeting with them.
Yeah, so at the start, as soon as you book your suppliers in, at the start, ask them what their timeline is, when they need things by, and then you can kind of build your own checklist from that. Yeah. And at this sort of 3-month mark, we would suggest, you've met with your caterer and your venue, but you would probably need to submit your menu, your final selections to them, and then probably also meet with your musicians or send them a, playlist or some of your song selections as well, like your important ceremony music and any key songs that you want played throughout.
The Grease Mega Mix. I'm just kidding.
No Meatloaf. I cannot stand Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
You know Meatloaf?
What's his song again? What song?
Bat Out of Hell.
Like a bat out of hell. Like that. Is that it?
I don't know. I don't know the song. I don't even know why I'm talking about Meatloaf.
You're hungry,
it's
Kelly.
Not even my era. Like Nickelback. Nickelback's more like.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I know. I can't stand.
Nickelback should not be played at a wedding.
No, and I'm seriously like, what are some of the wedding songs that you've just heard too many times, like the cliche ones?
Horses.
Oh, I was thinking more ceremonies when you said horses.
Oh, okay.
You go riding on the. You can't walk down the aisle to that.
No, you can't. Okay. So one song I'm so over right now is Elvis Presley's Can't Help Falling in Love.
Oh, I haven't heard that one on any.
It's everybody. Like, so ever since the movie Crazy Rich Asians, where they had like a woman do like her own version of it, everybody's doing like alternate versions of that song for walking down the aisle. It's just been done to death. Please don't do it anymore.
What else? What about Time After Time as like a wedding waltz?
Oh, wedding waltz. Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like
I've never
that's
had that before.
Oh, I feel like I've had that a couple of times, but that John Legend song, that's had a fair crack.
Oh, yeah.
All of Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything by Ed Sheeran. Highly recommend.
Not
Really? I'm just joking.
What did you walk down the aisle to?
It's cliche.
Oh, really?
Doug's laughing.
Oh, what was it? Tell me.
Okay, so I think it was just the instrumental to Turning Page. So, like, when we got married, Twilight was like the whole rage, the whole big thing.
Oh,
we got married in the forest.
I don't even know that song.
Yeah, your love is my turning page.
No, don't know the song. Look, I'm not a Twilight fan, so I actually don't know. Yeah, mine was like a song. I can't remember it's gone from my mind, the actual band name, but my best friend who was a bridesmaid sang it as I walked down the aisle. But it's that Safe and Sound song.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Even when the sky is falling down, you know that you'll be safe and sound.
Yeah.
That song. Who's it by?
That's fast, isn't it? Safe and sound.
That song. Yeah, but she sang it like as an acoustic slow version.
Oh, yeah.
So the
nice.
wasn't in it.
That's good, yeah.
And then you know the song Bloom?
No.
The instrumental
Doug
by
knows
Paper Kite. Paper Kites. That was my during the ceremony was another song we had.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Which is now like it's like a trending song on Reels.
Oh, that's cute.
So random because it's like 6 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happens a little bit. We've digressed.
We have 1 to 2 months out. Are we up to there? I think we are.
Yeah. The home stretch, like literally.
Yeah. This is when you want to like just crawl under your doona.
Oh yeah, this is when the kind of stress sets in for all my clients and they start to freak out and they're like,
not for everybody,
I don't feel
though.
organised.
I think there's like a bunch of people that are like just super cruisy, super chill.
There
They're
is.
just like happy, anything goes.
I always know when it's coming, so I'm always ready to like simmer that down. So I'm always like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. Like this happens to everyone, so it's fine. So 1 to 2 months out is when there's a lot of coordination. I mean, for me, when I'm doing the full styling and planning for someone, and in that 1 to 2 month lead up, that's when we do the most hours, I would say, including on the day. So yeah, do you want to cover off what they would need to do?
Yeah, so there's like quite a lot, isn't there? There's seating plan, you've got your hair and makeup trial, which you might do for like going out. I don't know, some people schedule something going out after that. You'd pay all of your vendors in full. Cha-ching. You'd write your vows, which I would highly recommend definitely doing like start looking at around the 2 month mark. So do not recommend writing the night before because it shows.
Yeah.
But I think also some celebrants like to have the vows too so that you don't have to read them off of your phone or off of a piece of paper that you've written them on either. So it's a bit more professional that way. They might even guide you with that. I'm not 100%
I don't
sure.
know. The celebrants might want them sooner than 1 to 2 months out.
That's true.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. You do a final venue visit. You might need to sign off on any kind of paperwork. And then you'd also have like your floor plan done for the venue. And then you would also need to be looking at the run sheet, which is a really big thing, something that you might do.
Schedule for the day.
Yeah. You might do that with your planner. Your photographer and your videographer will also need that.
Your venue also and caterer need to be involved. There's a lot of people that need to be involved in
lots of vendors,
So who needs to be involved in the run sheet? Needs to be your planner, photographer, videographer, florist. You need to
MC,
MC,
DJ.
yeah, musician, DJ, yeah, your venue, because obviously, and caterer, food service. They want to make sure that you know, aren't doing speeches when food needs to come out. So.
You're also coordinating like the deliveries and Packdown as well. So that's all part of that as well. So you'd probably put that on there for when people can come and collect things as well. Or they might liaise with the venue about that as well.
Yeah, and that's very time consuming. That whole run sheet and kind of delivery Packdown schedule is really time consuming. So, I mean, I would recommend starting that process 6 weeks before, because you need to liaise with so many different people and there's a bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just touching on seating plan, because you said that at the start, that is one thing that people never consider how hard it's going to be until they start doing it. So, but it's one of those things that you can't really do early on because you don't have your final RSVPs.
Yeah.
So you can, I know some couples who have kind of done a rough seating plan and then like 10 people can't come and they've had to move the whole thing around.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that one's a bit time consuming, but it's also getting the template together. If you don't have a planner or stylist to help you, then if you're not like well versed in Excel, you know, like some people find it really hard to actually pull it together and how to actually do that, how to present it as well.
I know a solution for that.
What's your solution?
Just don't have a seating plan.
Well, yeah, just let everyone sit wherever they want.
Sit wherever they want. No, that like really does not work. Does it? It'd be like a game of
it's chaos.
Musical chairs.
Yeah, pretty much. So
I'll be at the kids' table.
Oh yeah. Do they have lollies there?
You would hope so.
So, did we miss anything?
Oh, we probably missed a whole bunch of things, but we also don't have a whole week to be sitting here talking to each other, eating party pies and mapping out everything that goes into a wedding timeline. So this is like just quite generic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What would you say was the most stressful part of your wedding planning for you, or the like most time consuming?
Oh, it's so hard. It's so long ago. I can't even remember what would have taken the most time. I don't know, Doug.
The most time.
Yeah. What would have
for
taken
me
the most time?
was doing the map to where the ceremony was.
Oh, really?
But that was the only thing I did.
He was really helpful.
Spoken like a typical groom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, that I felt like I was really stressed about finding the right venue. But then once we found the venue, I felt better. But I ended up getting a coordinator to help me in the lead up because I had a really busy job, full-time job.
And you were interstate?
Yeah, but we moved over to Adelaide like at, I don't know, maybe 6 months before the wedding.
Okay. Yeah.
And I hadn't planned a lot.
Yeah.
Like spoken like a terrible wedding planner. But that's why I ended up getting into what I do, because I realised how important that was for me, working full-time in a corporate, really demanding job, not having any time after work or energy to do any of it, and I was just finding it really hard. So, yeah, so I think one of the most important things was actually getting that person on board to help me plan, because without her I probably would have had a conniption. Yeah, so that's probably what I found the most stressful. I think the whole planning side and choosing a venue.
What would you say would be like the best thing about the whole process? So like not the getting married part, before that in the planning. What was the best part?
In the planning or on the day?
In the planning.
Oh, I just really enjoyed all the styling side of things. So, you know, like meeting with the florist and coming up with furniture and decor, but that's probably because that's what I love doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I enjoyed the most.
Yeah. I really felt like it was a turning point for us, like me personally, but also us, like Doug and Dana as a team. Like, because obviously you're getting married, you're like tethering yourselves to each other, and then like the beginning of our journey forward as such. But I really felt like it gave us a really good opportunity to see how creative we could be.
Yeah.
And I really loved the creative side of planning.
Yeah.
Like we just really thrived on that. And I think we had like a lot of people in our lives that didn't really understand that, because I mean, a lot of our friends and stuff that had gotten married, that like different parts of the wedding wasn't really important to them when they were planning their own weddings. They just basically wanted to get married, which is why you get married in the first place, why you have a wedding, which is super, super important, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to enjoy the process as well. And I just felt like, it was a really good opportunity for us to see how creative we could be. And we ended up having a wedding that was really like uniquely us and beautiful, even though there was heaps of things that would change now.
I know. It's so funny how trends change. That's why I always say to people, just go with what you love now, because in a year you're probably going to hate it anyway.
Yeah. And in like 25 years, I think your kids are going to laugh at you anyway.
Yeah, I know.
No matter
I
what
often
you did.
think that about my dress or whatever. Like I love my dress still now, but would I wear it now? Probably not, because there's so many, new styles that I love.
Yeah.
But there's so many different things that I would change about my wedding. I wouldn't have cocktail. I'd have sit down. I don't know. So just go with what you love now and what you want to do now, because there's no point in stressing about, is this going to be on trend in a year?
Yeah.
Who cares? Just do what you love now.
Yeah. And that's what we're all about here at the Wedding Edit anyway, is about doing things your way. Like it's your day, exactly how you want to do it. Throw away the traditions that you don't want and hold true to the traditions that you feel are important.
Yeah. Well, actually, what was a tradition that you didn't go with?
We didn't do the garter toss.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do that either.
Yeah, I feel like it was really gross.
Yeah, I don't even understand it.
I just think it's ugh. But each to their own.
I didn't throw the bouquet, but I think I already talked about that in another episode.
I know there was one tradition that I really wanted to do, and like we kind of failed at it, and which we did okay, but I really wanted to like smash the cake into each other's faces. Like I just had seen some photos of like some flash photos, really cool photos of a couple that had like just smushed it into each other's faces.
At your wedding you'd seen, like before your wedding you'd seen those photos?
Yeah, and I really wanted those. And then I was trying to do it, but Doug is so tall like that it didn't really work out.
Did you actually try and do it on the day?
Yeah, absolutely. So.
And it didn't work?
No, Doug wasn't really into it. I didn't.
It's probably a good thing to bring up. You got to talk to your partner about these expectations.
Oh, so Doug didn't actually know that the cake was getting smashed?
No.
I didn't tell him about it. I didn't tell him that I had seen these photos and that I dreamt of
So
them.
you just started smashing cake in his face on the wedding day, and he was like, what are you doing?
I knew what she was trying to do, so I was just trying to avoid it. But if I knew if I knew that it was for the photos
so
or for
funny.
a reason, I might have let her do it and got her back. But
that is so funny.
Well, he did try to get me back, but also like the icing was a bit thick as well. So, but that's okay. So
I want to see these
really hard.
photos.
Yeah, I'll show them to you. Maybe we'll put one in the show notes if we can. I'm not sure if we can.
Oh,
Doug's nodding.
that is so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Is that a wrap for
That's a
season
wrap.
1?
Season 1 is done.
Oh my gosh. Or are we having a bonus episode? What do you think, Doug?
I think we've got a bonus Q&A with you two.
Q&A with Dana and Kelly. So everyone's going to be tuning in for that.
Yeah. So thanks for listening if you made it this far.
Yeah, thanks, Mum.
Yeah, I know, literally. Thanks, both of our mums, all 3 of our mums.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.